Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today's video we actually have, unfortunately, a really disturbing one, if you will. It's about one of Donald Trump's nominees. Unfortunately, and I'm saying he because it was a male who unfortunately supports this fascist rapist, and oath-breaking insurrectionist and 32-time convicted, felon, or 34, sorry, not 32, convicted felon of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree, and what he nominated this guy for, he being Trump. Why did he nominate this prick? Because we will find that out in today's video. This article is by NBC News. The article is titled Trump Investigation. Trump nominates, quote, stop the steal, end quote, organizer who advocated for January 6th defendants to be DC's top prosecutor. By Ryan J. Riley. And the article reads, Washington President Donald Trump has nominated the interim U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, a Stop the Steal organizer who advocates for January 6 defendants, to be the District of Columbia's top prosecutor. My editorial edition on a permanent basis. Trump made the announcement less than 3 days, after the nominee Ed Martin posted that he would be investigating Jack Smith and a law firm that gave the former special prosecutor pro bono legal services. The question is, investigate them for what? For doing their gosh darn job? Continuing with the article. Referring to Martin as, quote, highly respected, quote, Trump wrote on X that Martin, quote, has been doing a great job as interim U.S. Attorney, fighting tirelessly to restore law and order and make our nation's capital safe and beautiful again, end quote. Sadly, ladies and gentlemen, that's not according to the Capitol police officers who were there that day, working and fighting to protect our nation. And I take their word over Trump and his lackeys and Crony's words any day. Continuing with the article. Martin posted on Friday on X, my editorial edition, the platform owned by billionaire Elon Musk, unfortunately, that his office would be investigating Smith and the law firm of Covington and Burling over pro bono legal services Smith received during a time when Trump was openly vilifying him and suggesting he and his team should be locked up. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, investigate them for what? Investigate them for what? For doing their gosh darn job? Martin called on, quote, die-hard true Americans, quote, to work until their, quote, last breath, quote, to, quote, stop the steal, quote, in a speech at the U.S. Capitol on the eve of the January 6, 2021 attack. He was subpoenaed by the House Jan 6th Committee and was on the board of an organization that supported Jan 6 defendants, and he was a defense attorney for 3 Capitol attack defendants. As interim U.S. attorney, he launched an investigation into the office's handling of January 6 cases and fired some assistant U.S. attorneys who worked such cases. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is wrongful termination. You can even tell just by reading this article that right there, what he did is wrongful termination, and he can legally, by law, be held accountable for enacting unlawful terminations by the U.S. constitutional law. Continuing with the article. In Washington, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia prosecutes both federal cases in the U.S. District Court and local cases in Superior Court. Martin has held the critical position on a temporary basis since Inauguration Day, when Trump issued his mass pardons for violent January 6th defendants and rioters like Padilla, who was convicted of assaulting officers and sentenced to 6 years in federal prison. My editorial edition. Martin's name was on a government motion to dismiss the Padilla case that was submitted a day after Trump's pardon, but he was still on file as a defense attorney for Padilla. Martin then filed my editorial edition a motion this month to withdraw as Padilla's defense attorney, but the court soon advised him that he was, quote, not in good standing, quote, and had to renew his membership. The U.S. attorneys, who were prosecutors within the Capitol siege section before it was disbanded after Trump's pardons, told NBC News that they saw Martin as openly auditioning for the role on a permanent basis, which was pointing out to the unusual letter that he wrote to Elon Musk, offering up his office's services. My editorial edition. They also worry that his boisterous social media presence will backfire in the long term and undermine the criminal cases for prosecutors, causing issues with both judges and juries. Quote, prosecutors are supposed to speak in court and in filings, but he was shown himself to be incapable of abiding by the rule of law, by that rule, end quote. A federal law enforcement official said, quote, if the chief law enforcement officer is tweeting about criminal allegations and calling people thugs, he's tainting the jury poll and giving defense attorneys an argument for change of venue or recusal. Another law enforcement official said, quote, there is no bottom, end quote. Brendan Balu, I believe is how his last name is pronounced, who is a former Justice Department prosecutor who worked on January 6th cases, told NBC News that Martin's nomination was, quote, extremely concerning, quote, for a number of reasons, and that Martin's lack of prosecutorial experience was showing in his public actions. Quote, he clearly has an agenda related to the January 6th prosecutions that he's executing and on and potentially violating professional obligations as he does so when he is, for instance, dismissing cases where he himself represented the defendant, end quote. Balu said Martin did not respond or did not have a response to a request for comment about whether he had discussed investigating Smith with Trump before Trump's announcement on Monday. My editorial edition. but he clearly has some sway within the administration. While roughly 20 federal prosecutors who had worked on the Jan 6th cases were fired just over 2 weeks ago and showed up to their offices just 14 days ago to drop off their computers and pick up their belongings. Martin wrote in an email Friday evening that he had received an exception to the Trump administration's hiring freeze to bring on new assistant U.S. attorneys. Some of those fired assistant U.S. attorneys had been set to begin working on cases in the Superior Court when they were forced out. My editorial edition. Quote, as we continue our fight for our fellow Americans, we need more people to keep DC, safe and to stand up for the rights of victims, Martin wrote in the email to his office. Quote, to this end, great news. We are authorized to hire 20 new AUSAs for assistant U.S. attorneys. We are on it and hard to get job postings up so that we can fill those positions as soon as possible. Well, ladies and gentlemen, one thing's clear is Martin does not back the blue, nor is he going to be making DC any safer. He's just going to bend over backwards for Donald Trump. And soon, hopefully, the U.S. Supreme Court will see this and ultimately rule that him and the rest of Donald Trump's cronies are blatantly unconstitutional along with Trump and breaking the law and not making DC any safer, knowing that these guys are corrupt, violent Gen 6 defendants who ultimately, illegally, tried to overthrow our democracy on January 6, 2021 in favor of Donald Trump. Before I end today's video, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not subscribed or followed me on my socials down below, I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, and Threads. There you guys can be updated on when I posted a brand new video on the channel. Those will be linked down below, so that way you don't have to go searching for my social medias on like I said, Instagram, Snapchat, or Threads. again, there you can be updated on there, ladies and gentlemen, you guys can be updated on when I, like I said, post a brand new video of a news breaking article to the channel. Please help me reach my the channel goal of 100 subscribers plus. The reason why I'm saying 100 subscribers plus is because after we hit the 100 subscriber goal mark, we have more subscribers to go after we hit the 100 subscribers goal mark for the channel. Thank you everybody for watching, and I hope that you stay safe and warm during this wintry weather conditions, and I look forward to talking to you guys in the next legal breaking update. See you guys. I will see you guys in the next legal breaking update.